Right, you lovely lot, the sun is shining, so I've come outside. This is video 3 of 3 for our sale here at Manor Park Classics for Saturday, the 22nd of July. If you're clever, if you subscribe, you're getting this early, you're getting the jump on everybody else. And if you're really clever, you've still got time to come down and actually view these cars in person. If you can't manage it, that's my job. I'll do a very quick run around for you now, show you all of the stuff in here. Let's just look down this. This is what I was greeted with as I came into work this morning. Can you imagine doing this for a living? You're probably thinking that guy has a paid hobby. And I'm lucky enough to say that you're right. So thank you to all of you that keep me in a job. Right, let's start with this. I adore these 1997 Jaguar 4-litre XJ Sport. The XJ Sport was a normally aspirated version. Think of it, and I mean this in the nicest possible way because I have one. Poor man's XJR, although we do have one of those in a minute as well, in the same colour. Really nice spec, these 4-litre normally aspirated. This is an automatic with 69,000 miles on. They are, to me, the ultimate X300. And I like the X300s, going really nerdy now, sorry guys. This is what I'm here for. So the X300 is the earlier facelift XJ, so you get the square rectangular indicators, but you also get the old XJ dashboard, but with the new facelift XJ. And I think that's the nicest one. I do like the later oval X308, but the 300 to me is the sweet spot. Really cool kind of like digital dash, the old seats, just mega. These waft along, 16-inch wheels, so the ride's really nice as well. I adore these, and that one is going to be 5 to 6 grand. Come on, look at that. Great colour, wonderful spec, best engine they did in the sport. Treat yourself to that one. You won't regret it. Talking of cars that waft, this defines the word waft, doesn't it? 300 SE, 1991. It's beautiful, 84,000 miles, which means on a Mercedes, you're about run in, aren't you really? You've probably got another 200,000 miles left to go. Really, really nice. Really nice. The body's beautiful on this. Let's have a look around for you. See if I can spot any bits. Do you know what, guys? Tiny bit of lack appeal on the roof. That trim could do with a bit of a paint. But she's ever so level. I mean, crikey, 1991. What a thing. It's a lovely colour combination. I would second that. Mega miles, original spec. Again, a bit of lack appeal on the back. I'm giving this, in terms of corrosion and straightness, very high score, 9 and a bit. Paintwork and lacquer, maybe kind of a 7. You are going to have to spend a little bit of money if you want to mint her, but the interior is so nice. And what's that going to cost you? 5 to 6 grand. All these cars out here, as I whip under this flag, this is kind of like our, not bargain basement, because that kind of demeans how nice these cars are, but these are the cars that you can treat yourself for very sensible amounts of money. So 5 to 6 grand would get you into that. I think that would be a wise investment. Now these are great, again massively undervalued, underrated car, 2200 TC Rover P6. We did one of these on the show, we did a black one, and I was blown away with how well they drive. You've got a Dion back axle on these, like a Citroen DS, all unstressed panels, and this one's very nice on the body actually. This is a 77 home market car, what can I tell you? The white is good. Interior is very nice on this. Right-hand drive home market car, offered with its British Motor Heritage Certificate. It's got electronic ignition, which I really think is a nice upgrade. Just had a carb rebuild last year, had a clutch the year before that. Driven to the sales room, we've all driven it, watch the video, it's mega. And it drives really nice. Do you want to know the upsetting thing about these? All of this incredible styling, all of that for the time. Don't forget this one, car of the year. They ride and drive like a little Rolls Royce. 3.5 to 4.5 grand, that's all that's going to cost you. I think you'd struggle to get a nicer, more usable, more stylish British classic that has that much heritage for that kind of money. You know what, I might have a little bit on that myself. This is really very, very nice. Trims are good, paint's good, brightwork's good, lovely car that one. I'm amazed this hasn't sold because it's one of the most beautiful cars. The best shape of all the Jags, 420G. G stands for gangster obviously, you can see that. 76,000 miles, just had an extensive refurbishment this one, complete service history, Jaguar Heritage Certificate, drives really well, and I love this colour combination. That's going to be about 9 to 11 grand that one. You just need a big garage if you're going to take it home. It's a big old car. Isn't this beautiful? 55, Auntie Rover. A charming example in a classic colour it says here, and I can't disagree with that either. We always talk about cars that get you into the hobby, stuff that's not going to cost you loads to buy, fix, it's got a good scene, it's not going to break the bank. This is that. 12,000 miles showing, so I guess it's either gone round or it's been reset on the odometer. Great period colour, really 1950s colour this one. The wood is pretty decent, it's probably ready for a little bit of a varnish and a lacquer in there. The leather looks very good indeed, the carpet's great. Apparently it runs well, it's got freewheeling hubs on it as well. and you could buy that for 4 or 5 grand. Not a huge amount of money for how much fun you're going to have. And these, I think, have suddenly started to become quite collectible. Funny, 50s stuff, generally speaking, is kind of static at the moment, but stuff like that, because of the usability of it and the kind of ubiquity of it, it's suddenly becoming quite desirable. So that's a good car to have. Won't ever cost you a lot of money, not a huge amount to go wrong on them, and a very usable practical classic. This is rare, 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 rare. A 733i. When was the last time you saw one of these? I can't even think the last time I saw a 733. 1978, rare. Well, I just can't say rare enough times really on this car. Find me another, as I always say. Early E23, obviously, very well preserved interior. The interior really is not even a shampoo, it's probably a vacuum away from perfection. Only 3 owners, very high spec. You can't beat a 7. If I'm honest, there's a few little bits of paint to do. She's just starting to bubble in a couple of places, but there's a little scratch there. Looks like something's fallen on it in the garage. So you would, I think, enjoy this immensely whilst driving it around and looking absolutely unspeakably awesome. And then just tidy it as you go. That's what I'd do with it anyway. Again, practical classic, something you can drive to work in the summer, something you can waft to the coast in with your mates or your kids. Love that. Colour's great as well. That's 45 grand. All of these cars here, nothing's going to break the bank, guys. 45 grand. All the cars here are affordable. Great way to get into the hobby. Citroen 2CVs. Why have I never had a 2CV? They're just great, aren't they? Again, a wonderful car to own with a great scene, great spares packages, all the people there to help you look after it. Wonderful club. My friend James Walsh of Practical Classics, he's a 2CV man. Can't speak highly enough of them. Surprisingly tractable these, and there's all sorts of fun things you can do with the engines as well. These later cars really are quite decent in modern traffic. They keep up with all sorts of stuff. This is an 88 2CV6 Special Dolly, which I'll be honest with you, does need quite a bit of bodywork. She's all there, she's solid but tatty. Roof's very good. Every panel pretty much needs painting. But why would you? Why would you not just smoke it around? Current owner's had it since 2005, MOT's till December of this year, recommissioned in 2021, including a new starter motor, fuel pump, fuel line, ignition coil, battery, fan belt, kingpin kit, rear shock absorbers and condenser. This is the kicker. Ready? What's the question you always ask on a 2CV? Is has it got a galvanised chassis? And the answer is yes, and that was done in 2015 with new floors. So you've got all the bones of a really awesome car there. Fantastic little car. All the hard work's been done for you. So either drive it around scruffy like this without a care in the world, or just tidy it as you go. 3.5 to 4.5. Look, do yourself a favour, do some Google searching on the top of the Citroen market. It's about 4 or 5 times that. There is your car with all the hard work done to tidy as you go. Or just leave it and enjoy it. I adore this one as well. This is great. I love an Astra cab. I'm all about 1980s hatchbacks that were converted into convertibles and have to have a rollover hoops. I think Escort, think Volkswagen Golf Mark 1, think the Bertoni Astra. This is a 93 2-litre exclusive, and it is very exclusive because when was the last time you saw one in this colour? 55,000 miles, appears to be all factory spec car with the BBS style wheels on as well. Just mega. It needs a little bit of tidying. There's a few scratches on the bonnet. It's got the GTE style bumpers on, which is great. The interior, come and have a look at this, Elliot. Buy it for the interior. If you want to do a show like Radwood, they would love it if you turned up in this. And you wouldn't need to do much really. And if you were going to be an absolute chav like I am, I would just slam this on some splits and it would just look epic. And that's all it needs. Tidy the paintwork up, drop it, put some mega wheels on. Don't forget to get the right offset, being a Vauxhall. And I think you'd have a lot of fun. That car is going to be no reserve. Summer's here, I've got my shorts on. I could see myself driving around in Devon in this. I might have to have a bid on that. That would look good next to my Cheshire Golf, I think. The Nissan Figaro, the appeal of these cars never wanes. And who can blame the people that want one of these? This is a 1991, as they all are, because they all came out on the same year. No reserve. Nice mileage on this, 70,000 miles. It's original spec, substantial history and paperwork. One of 20,000 is all they made. They've just done a few bits and pieces to it. I'll be honest with you guys, we've done a few of these. There's a few bits to do on this one. Roof is very good. It's just starting to go around the edges of the roof as they all do. A few cracks on the dash, so do budget for a dashboard. But again, it's not going to be an expensive car, this one. This is no reserve. Again, you get to set the price. Really nice little project because it runs and drives very well. It's had some money spent on it. There's work to do. Most of the trim bits are there. It's missing a couple of the corner trims. but it's in good level condition. So it needs a bit of love, but no reserve. You get to set the price and tell us what you think it's worth. This, again, what a wonderful little thing. 1968 Auto Bianchi Type 264. You can't get more Italian than this. You really can't. This has done 12,000 miles. It appears to be factory original spec. It looks very shiny and blue. This is brush painted. I'm going to tell you that because you don't get the benefit of seeing that on the video. It's been done not bad, actually, I have to say. Whoever's brush painted this, I take my hat off to you. You could wet flat that, you know, if you just had a couple of sunny Sundays like this, get out there with your wet and dry, you could make that half decent, you really could. And if not, it's just protecting what is a very nice car underneath. It's factory original spec, recently retrimmed. So this is the crazy thing. The paintwork is all there, but it needs redoing or wet flatting. Look at the interior. Someone spent a fortune trimming this. Look at that. That is like brand new. So I think this is a classic case of somebody who's about to do a very expensive paint job, judging by the quality of the interior, and never quite got around to it. So maybe you're the person that could finish that and make it very nice. That's going to be 3 to 4 grand. See what I mean? This is where the fun is. Some beautiful lots in there. We've got a £120,000 964 turbo. But out here in the sunshine, 3, 4, 5 grand. No reserve stuff, you get to pick the price. This is where the fun is. These are my favourite lots, all of these. 928 S4, what can we say? 1989, this isn't perhaps not a pocket money toy, this one. 120,000 miles, guards red, clean MOT with no advisories. 2019 they spent 2.5 grand on this car, and it's a sunroof model. 928s were of course meant to be the replacement for the 911, which bizarrely they never managed, because almost in every single way, in terms of chassis balance, in terms of its touring ability, in terms of its refinement, in terms of its luxury, in every way, and I can say this as a 911 owner, this is the better car. But obviously it just didn't have that magic X factor that everybody loved about the 911, and for that reason it's always languished price-wise below where those cars are. And despite the fact it's so nice, you could buy that for 11 or 12 grand. I think you'd find it very, very hard, particularly with its proper crested wheel centres, to look any cooler than that for 12 grand. Again, it's a very level car. I would personally just mop and correct this paint a little bit. If you spent 300 or 400 quid on this car, you would have something that would snap necks and nicker elastic. It's an automatic, wonderful GT wafter. Just fabulous things they are, absolutely fabulous. Right, Capris you can afford. They're rare, aren't they? Here's one. A 1977 Ford Capri 1.6 GL. Whack a vinyl roof on it and sing the theme to Minder. That's what I'd do with a nice Mark II like this. 58,000 miles, 2 former keepers. It's been with the last owner for 11 years. Run, drives and stops. Original spec, just nice, isn't it? Still on the old number plates, look at that. I can remember cleaning those when I was a little kid. I used to have a car wash round, which will come as no surprise to you all. When you used to get flies stuck on these, they were absolute swines to clean. But again, really nice, level original car. Looks like someone's been shooting at the windscreen, so it's going to need a windscreen. Easy enough to do, just when you get your insurance, just claim it through that. 50 quid excess. Yeah, that's nice inside, really nice, original looking car that. Super sweet, level car, 4 to 5 grand. 4 to 5 grand. So a fifth of what like a nice 2.8 inside will cost you. No less fun, slightly slower, take you 10 more minutes to get to the car show, but who cares? I mean, you look as good as that. Like that very, very much. Another great no reserve car. These are underrated, aren't they? C280, 1995 Mercedes-Benz. MOT passed in March of this year with no advisories whatsoever, 79,000 miles, automatic, and it's a 280. I always like to do, in the winter, I like to buy a really nice classic like this, something that's a bit different. You don't see many of anymore. It's not going to cost a huge amount of money. This is a no reserve car. You get to set the price. And you could drive this. If you've got loads of really lovely classic cars and you want something that you can just tuck away in the winter to drive while all of that stuff gets laid up, there's your car. So it's a 280, which is quite a quick old stick. Auto, best colour, really quite nice. Bumpers are very good. Let's have a quick look around for you. Tiny, tiny bit there. Trims are just starting to oxidise a little bit, but it's a no reserve car. So trims, wheel trims, look at that. You know what I think about cars on wheel trims. Mercs look so good on wheel trims. This takes us to this, which we are describing as a time warp example, and I can't really disagree with that. This is a 1997 Rover 825 SLI. And it does make you wonder, when you look at these cars, particularly in this colour, with this trim option, and it's in such nice condition, guys, it really is. it kind of makes you wonder why they didn't make it. It's so sad really what happened with the whole BMW thing, because they were making some damn fine motor cars. This is obviously during the Honda period, so most of the engineering awesomeness and architecture of this is Honda. Then Britishised on top. It's a lovely car with a sunroof. It's had the previous owner for 26 years, original factory spec. And according to the DVLA, there are 17 of these beautiful badges left. There's not many of them at all. There's a real growth in the British classic car community, particularly in the modern classic stuff. And I think, again, turn up somewhere in this, you'll get a huge amount of respect. My friend Chris Pollitt, who works on Car and Classic and has his own Pollitt's Project channel, he's got a lovely Rover Vitesse. There's a real charm about them because there were so many of them, and all of a sudden they've disappeared. That's belting, and that's going to be 4.5 to 5.5 grand. Here, back once again, is the Genesis bread van, a very smart little car that's sitting for me absolutely perfectly. You know, my formula for everything is drop it and stick it on some sweet rims. This car has had that. It's a really, really super straight little car that's done 115,000 miles on a 1992, fresh MOT, factory spec, and dropped on sweet ATS rims. That's all you need to do. Why make it any harder than it needs to be? Somebody has utterly nailed the art of driving around in a very desirable car that you can buy for 3.5, 4 grand tops. Why make it harder than that? I think because it's rarer than a Golf, it has to be more desirable than a Golf, and there's a very noisy plane flying overhead. Hopefully you can still hear me. Moving on to this, if my friend Sarah Crabtree was here, she would love this. And what's not to love about a Maxi? Maxis actually, they were kind of unloved for a bit, but people start to realise actually now they're a very smart classic car choice because they're very practical. So what you've got here is basically an enormous mini clubman, front wheel drive, huge amounts of interior space with the doors off the old Land Crab, of course. One of the very first practical family hatchback cars you could get. This is an 81, so a very late one, 50,000 miles with a manual, and just pretty much as it came. So you've got an original interior which is almost as new, a very, very nice exterior, original dealer plates, some stamps in the book. We only think there's 21 of these left inside. And isn't it great? 1750, so it chugs along. I would like to own this, you know. There's a kind of ironic charm to all this BL stuff that suddenly everybody is getting. And because of that, they're starting to make quite good money. You think Maxi used to be a cheap car because of the condition, the mileage, and like the dashboard's perfect. The bodywork is very, very good. 5 to 6 grand if you fancy that. And do check the history on that. It is surprisingly amazing how much provenance we've got on that. Moving on to this, the 84 280 CE. Isn't it cool? Do you like it? I love it. 105,000 automatic gearbox, this one as well. It's a 280 to the 2.8. Very, very nice interior on this, in very good condition. The bodywork really is quite decent, but it's just a couple of little holes at the bottom of the wing. You've got some money to spend getting the exterior as good as the interior, but it's not going to be a hugely expensive car, this one. You don't see many of the coupes anymore. 123s are getting rare. The top of the 123 market, there was, believe it or not, I saw a 123 estate at the Festival of Speed for £70,000. So the top of this market's gone bonkers. The coupes, I think, will always be very desirable. You could buy this car for probably £7,000 to £8,000. Spend maybe a couple of grand getting the bodywork perfect and having a lovely smoker. I absolutely think that is something I would like to own. But then again, as you may have noticed, there's almost every car in this auction I would like to own. And this is why I have a car collecting problem. This is why I have this job. 1995 Rover 1.4 Li. Just drink it in. Once the choice of old ladies and mums everywhere. My mum had almost this exact car. This has only done 28,000 miles from new. If you would like to go to Haggerty's Festival of the Unexceptional, which you still have time to go to, if you buy this car, I might be able to blag you a ticket somehow and get you in. 2 former keepers, original spec, original Rover stickers in the back, everything, 9 entries in the service book, full book pack and wallet, and 2 sets of keys. Go and have a guess. Have a guess what that is. How much? You tell me, because 2 magic words in the auction catalogue, no reserve. I'm going to have a little look around this now. Tiniest little rust bleb there. And this is me being super pedantic because you can't be here, so I'm going to try and do it for you. Wow, it's very good, guys. Interior is like new, as you'd expect for a 28,000 mile car. Yeah, just get that little tiny bit caught now. Roof needs a little mop. Yeah, she's good, very good on the seams. Bumpers are all good. Yeah, that needs like 200 quid spending on it to make it absolutely mega. And then maybe spend 300 quid on the detail of all details, and my word, you could have a show winner there. Honda Civic 1.4S. If you haven't driven one of these, they drive like nothing else. And these are nice, yes, because they've got the deeper, sportier seats as well. 2001 this car, 104,000, automatic, ultimate old person wafter, which has now become ironically desirable. I'm struggling to think of anything that you could buy for this, which again is a no reserve car, that would get you to work, have some fun. It needs a bit of tidying up, wheels all need refurbishing look. There's a little bit of lack of peel. You feel it's a bit dry there. It would really benefit from a polish and a mop, this car. Interior is as new, the Honda interiors wear ever so well. Family owned from new, cam belt replaced in April 21, so that's very cool. And the desirable S model with the alloys, the air conditioning, and I bet the air conditioning works as well because it's an old Honda. Yeah, little bits of paint work to do, but for what it'll be, which will be not a huge amount of money, just drive it and enjoy it. Again, if you want to come into the hobby, if you want to start a classic that's never going to let you down, that you can drive as your daily, there she is, and just improve it as you go. Also, Google what the Americans do. The Civic scene in America is absolutely bonkers, and there's a few of that model which you will Google and find some amazing examples of what you can do with them if you want to either restore it, make it original and wonderful, or do some light mods. Civics look great with mods. 1982 Ford Capri 1.6 cell, the first lady owned it for 37 years, and what we are saying is a very credible 35,000 miles. So owned from new to 2019, original bill of sale, very nice colour, this one as well, and a beautiful interior. I'm liking these price range Capris, you know, because like I say, 2.8s Brooklands turbos are all bonkers money now, 25, 30 grand to get you into that. But you can have just as much fun at a slightly slower speed with a little engine Capri. They just look just as good. This one's going to be 6 or 7 because the condition's lovely. If you look around the screen, that's incredible, the rubber's good. Tiny bit of corrosion at the top of the door which has been touched in. The paint is remarkable, guys, it really is. Yeah, I like that a lot. Parcel shelf looks like brand new. That has never been near an upgraded speaker in its life. Yeah, really clean. Remarkable little car, that one. But also, 1.6, you might be thinking, that's slow. And to be honest, you're right, but you can't drive faster than 70 anyway, so what's the point? You only get a ticket. That will stop you from getting a speeding fine. Here you go. We showed you the XJ Sport earlier. Here's the big boy. This is the full fat version, the XJR, the 4-litre manual. Just drink that in for a second. So Alex Kirsten, the YouTuber, has just had to do a manual conversion, and it will never be as good as doing it from the factory. This is a manual factory car, 107,000 miles, 2 previous keepers, with the current owner since 2001. Carnival red, which is a great colour with oatmeal inside. Loads of bills, P0s all around. Look at it, just look at it. Tiny bit of lack of appeal again, guys. And please understand, guys, I am being hypercritical. These are inexpensive cars. Most people would describe these as immaculate or tidy or brilliant. I prepare show cars and tele cars for a living. I am being hypercritical because hopefully that way you can bid on these cars thinking like, you know the good bits, you know the bad bits. So the good bits are everything I've just said. A few little stone chips on the front, bit of lack of appeal on the colour-coded grille. Again, spend a few quid. Being a lacquered metallic, you'd have to spend a bit more. But maybe 500-600 quid, and then the roof is just starting to bubble a little bit. So maybe you spend a grand making the paint tidy and you'd have a lovely, lovely car. But for me, XJR had the best wheel ever fitted to any XJ, and the best stance and suspension setup of any XJ. Wonderful, wonderful things. If you'd like that, and who wouldn't? So a little bit of money to spend on the bodywork if you're making it mint, £6,000 to £7,000, or just drive around doing skids, because it's a manual. Can't tell you how rare that is. More lovely Jags, X-Type, 3-litre V6 SC all-wheel drive estate. Very long name for a very lovely car. So obviously we all know these are just a Ford Mondeo underneath, but then beautifully rebodied with a great spec. And even though they are a Ford, which is no bad thing, the Mondeo is an awesome car, these do feel like a Jag when you drive them. This one's done 96,000, 2 former keepers, original spec, 9 stamps in the book, and it's a 3-litre all-wheel drive. Which means if you're looking for a great classic for winter, that you can drive uphill and down dale. Maybe you live in the Dales and you're thinking, what can I drive that's a bit unusual and that no one else has got? It's not going to cost me a load of money. It's a bit lifestyle-y, even comes with the 2-lay roof bars. That's no reserve. I think that could be a lot of fun, particularly in the winter. Here you go, the Antique Dealer Special. The 1996 Mercedes-Benz E300D estate. We have just defined the 2 words, practical classic. Great magazine. But if you're looking for a car that can be everything, so you've got the best engine, super frugal, will last till doomsday. Long after we've all gone, this car will still be here carrying large items. Just look at the size of the boot. If you've not seen the back of one of these E-Class wagons, just look. If you have a dog and you want a classic car, and that dog could be a St Bernard, look at it. It's enormous. 4 keepers, factory sunroof, which is very nice. Michelin tyres, which is always a good sign. Always check the tyres, guys. If they've put expensive tyres on an inexpensive car, what does that tell you about the previous owner? That they give one. That's what it tells you. 14 entries in the service book. It's got that lovely Mercedes boot protector, and look at the state of the interior. Look how clean that is. I adore this. Now, it's not going to be inexpensive, but for what you're getting, which is basically hewn from granite, it's like a small building on wheels that will last forever, 4 to 5 grand. And I defy you to find anything else for sale at the moment that is as practical and as useful as that car is. Wonderful thing. 2009 Mercedes-Benz CL500. We've got a lot of flagship Mercs in this sale, haven't we? Which I'm very excited about. 63,000 miles, automatic, lovely history on this one, amazing factory specification, and of course in silver. That car is going to be, for you, not a huge amount of money for what it is. Just drink it in. Imagine if you didn't know what year that was. Imagine if you didn't know that was a 2009, because I tell you now, your friends won't. You could buy that and take that home for £9,000 to £11,000. And I just find that's astonishing value, quite frankly. So there you go. This is my outdoor section. I've got some lovely stuff to show you inside as well. So come with me to look at some minis. Right, you join me inside now, so I can't top up my tan. But offsetting that is this, the Mini Flame. Now, if ever was a Mini built for me, the gentleman or lady who's put this car together has done this one. This is great. So just look at it. Just drink that in. So you've got wide arches, really well fitted, perfect wheel choice as well. But then if you move inside, I don't really fit in Minis, but this one has had massive seat drop and seat extender and column drop. So I fit in this beautifully. And it's got all the little kind of alloy additions on the doors. It's got a loud and leery exhaust. Not for the purists, this one, for sure, but what a lot of fun. Makes all the right noises, sounds like it's doing 1,000,000 miles an hour when it's doing 30. Looks epic, sits perfectly. If I was going to have a Mini, I think I would do it exactly like this. Really tastefully modified. Again, not for the purists, but mega. MOT just flew through. Bucket seats really work on that. And you could buy that car for 7 to 8. The mileage on that, should you wish to know, 52,000. That's all it's done. Really, really nice little car, that one. Moving over to this. This one is for the purists. Couldn't be more perfect for you. So Mini Cooper 1.3i. It's got everything. Union Jack roof on it as well. Cooper stripes, great colour combination. It's had past recommissioning, this one, and these are now becoming very rare, particularly in nice condition. Again, lovely factory interior with this one, with the wood dash as well. Great looking car, this. 22,000 miles, guys. Again, let me be very picky for you because you can't be here because you're watching the video. Paint a little bit dry on the top of the doors. The rest of the paint is very good. It has had some paint, without doubt, to a pretty decent standard. Tiny bit of bubbling on the roof vinyl. If you want to make it perfect, you just want to do that again. Drives beautifully. 7,000 to 8,000 pounds, that one. Really nice little car. This is what the Mini prices are now. Moving on to this, great car. 2000, so getting very late. This is a 2000 Rover Mini Cooper Sport. Only 46,000 miles, and these are the Sport Pack ones. You've got the wider arches, the bigger wheels. Don't they look good when they get to this point in the model's evolution? It's interesting because you've got a 59 there, look. The beginning and the end of what the Mini looked like. And I just love these. I remember seeing these in period. It's got the factory roof as well. And look how complicated the factory roof is compared to some of the aftermarket versions. Look, you've got a proper roof cassette, proper seal. You see a lot of Minis with Tudor style roofs cut in. Not many work and look as good as the factory roof. As I say, 46,000 on that. Matching set of Yokohamas, which is always a good sign. Full body restoration in 2013. So that's sat in that paint since 2013, and didn't they do a good job? That's going to be a bit more, 13 to 15, that one, because of what it is and the condition it's in. And that is almost like a new car, that one. Very, very nice. Also, if you fancy, we've got a couple of retail opportunities. That 59, that Traveller, they're not in the auction, but you can actually buy that 16 grand look, if you fancy that. So if you fancy Minis, we've got all of these on show. Come and have a conversation. And this one is a 1987 Mini Advantage. One of 2,500 produced, done 42,000 miles, but I think it has had a change on the speedo looking at that. Limited edition, engine rebuild in 2021 to the sum of 2,100 quid. Gearbox refresh in 2020 for 500 quid. The shell is very nice. A few little blebs though, look. If you look, it's just starting to go on the edge of the roof. So the car is tidy and very solid, but not perfect. And on the seams where they go, you can just see it's just starting to need a little bit of love. So the other 3 cars I've showed you are all really incredibly tidy. This is more of a project, but a project you can drive and enjoy. So but for that reason, it's going to be a lot cheaper. It's got a 12 months ticket, which it flew through. 3.5 to 4.5 that one. So if your cloth is cut a little bit more frugally, this is the car for you. And I have one last great British classic to show you before the end of the video. So come with me. And last but not least, look at this, 1954 Triumph TR2. Isn't this beautiful? British racing green, really very lovely interior, this one. It's been with the current owner since 1967, which I think tells you everything you need to know about what a fun thing this has been to own. It's really pretty, guys, very straight, paintwork's lovely. Say, nothing that a good polish would make utterly perfect, but this sits, for me, exactly as you'd want to own it, just dead usable, dead presentable. Had a comprehensive restoration in the late 90s, and I know I keep repeating these same tropes, but I really can't say it enough. Don't buy a car that's just been restored, because every car looks great. A car that's sat in its skin for 20 or 30 years and still looks this good, that's the car you want to buy, because you know you've got something decent. Electronic ignition upgrade, which is very good. Uprated headlights, which is great, because this is like driving behind candles, these. Full length tonneau with it, matching Firestones, and a recent service and MOT means she's just ready to go. These 50s sports cars aren't massive amounts of money. 50 stuff really is a great place to be buying at the moment, because obviously it's not an enormous market. The 70s, 80s, 90s stuff is where everyone's spending the crazy money, and those cars are flying up, which means the 50s stuff, kind of mainstream stuff like the Triumph, really is bargainous. You could buy this car 17 to 19,000 pounds. So for under 20 grand with your bits, you could be flying around in the summer looking fabulous and just enjoying life. So there you go. Don't forget, you've still got days, if you're watching this video early, to come down and have a look at these. You can register to bid, go and look at all the lots at manorparkclassics.com, or even better, get in your car and come and see us on Saturday the 22nd of July. But whether you're online or in the building, I'll see you Saturday.